welcome back to Anchor Designs. I'm James and today we are looking at a new design which is a bowl gouge and all things lathe turning sharpening jig. Let's get started. Okay, so what is it? The first thing that I would say is that this isn't an original design. I've copied this off a company called Wolverine Varigrind, and they're based somewhere in America. And I looked at actually trying to buy one of those and buying like a cheap budget one off eBay, which is about 30-40 quid. And the Wolverine one looked fantastic. The cheap looking one was a bit of box section welded together. And to be honest, I thought I could kind of make a better version of it. So this is my take on it. The concept isn't mine, but this design is what I've worked on. And it consists of a 6mm plate, laser cut, very, very highly precisely cut. And it's got a few little benefits and features onto it that we're going to go through today. Full disclosure, I'm still getting into wood turning. This is a new passion that I've taken on and I'm really enjoying it. This is why I've kind of gone to the length of doing this. This isn't a video on how to sharpen. It's not one of those. If you do want a video on how to sharpen all things lathe turning, the best one I find is one by Thompson Tools. The guy is an absolute wizard on all things lathe turning sharpening, but I just wanted to show you this, and I thought it was quite an interesting project. It's a little bit of a different video for us, but it's something that, you know, might be interesting to other people. So okay, so let's kind of go through everything. So we've got the cradle at the top. This is where your chisel actually goes, and this is to set your wing angle on your chisel. So this is typically used to adjust well, it's how you adjust the grind and the wing back sweep of your grind on your lathe chisels. Now, I'll be honest, from what I've kind of looked through and kind of getting into the traditional turning tools, is that I'm sticking with a 40-40 grind, and I'm sticking with like a fingernail grind on here as well, because I'm going to be starting doing more bowl gouges. All the chisels I've bought have been completely second-hand, so I'm kind of starting off sometimes with someone else's kind of bugger-ups, and then I'm just going to add my bugger-ups to it. So this is the cradle. I've changed a few little bits about it. One being, this is now incorporating a V-style on the top here. And this is, for me, the engineering side of me, is it's a bit more like a V-block. So you've got 2 points of contacts, and when you're trying to actually line this up, this is going to slide in there a little bit more square. We're currently mid-pandemic here. Well, to be honest, we're getting more towards the end of it, but we're still not open here in the UK. So I do want like a washer piece that's going onto the top here to actually square down those flats onto the top. So it isn't fully finished yet, but we're kind of 99% there. But if you've seen the Wolverine kit, then you'll know exactly what it is, and I think it's pretty much the same geometry. I've never seen one in person. This has been a few months in the making now since I restored my wood lathe, but I've actually looked into this and gone quite heavy into it. So yeah, there's a few little manufacturing changes from theirs and to mine. I'm not saying mine's any better, but I am biased. Okay, let's move on to the actual slider here. Okay, bench grinder, I'm just using a 6-inch record grinder. The reason why I'm using one of these and not my, you know, old vintage ones is because we've got a much wider wheel on these. I would prefer to leave the guard on, so that's why I'm using this one and not my, you know, other cooler looking ones. I'm also waiting for a dressing tool. I can't find mine, so I'm looking at a cluster diamond, which looks something like this. So my wheel does need dressing, admittedly, but I've been playing with this all weekend. So you'll notice that the difference between mine and the Wolverine one is mine is actually offset. The reasoning behind this is that I'm using a 6-inch belt grinder. I have pretty big hands, so I wanted to be able to access these sliders as easy as possible. So this can move out and you can actually sharpen up to a length, you know, if you're doing a spindle gouge of 0.5 metre long, 500mm, whatever, so this will actually extend very, very far out. So with that, I've offset these components here to be in line central to the midpoint of the wheel. And this has also got the adjustable ratchet clamps on here, which I really like, and they're all metal, which is good. And they're just a lot easier. Some have like a single point lever on the side. And another positive with this as well is that because it's slotted at the very back, you can't quite see that, you can pull the whole unit out. So when you're not using this and it's going to be jabbing you in the back, you can just pull it out, it comes out of the way, and then you can set it back up from there as well. Okay, so you can see just the slot there. I've also incorporated these little notches on the side here. So I'm hoping that you can see that okay, which are these small little notches. And what I'm actually using those for at the minute is just setting up where I'm putting my chisels as a rough kind of guess. So I've got SG marked here, and I did have BG a little bit further out for bowl gouge. It's not particularly necessary, but it's you know, something that works pretty well. The beauty of this is it is all made very, very simply to manufacture. I need a laser, a bit of welding, a bit of angle iron, and I did use a press brake to fold this component on the top here. Okay, well, kind of the reason for this video is that from using this and setting this up correctly, and I will do another more in-depth sharpening video on this, is that, to be honest, this is the first product that I've kind of made that I'd be quite comfortable actually offering to people if they were interested, and if there was, you know, enough interest on here. I'll put up some of the examples of the grinds, and I'll just, you know, run through some of the things that I've done. Don't get me wrong, someone with a bit more brains than I am can probably get a lot more out of this jig. You know, I am still learning for sure, but bowl gougers, spindle gougers, V-shape, U-shape, you name it. Yeah, we've had great success. One of the comments from the last time was just reference to the lightsaber that we did. Is I bought this a long time ago, never really used it. I put it in the jig, and I've managed to make a really nice 30-degree point tool that I've just copied the geometry from my my metal lathe chisels on the top here. I've got a very sharp rake at the back, works superb. So I'll be using the specialised and funkier looking ones for sure. But the main thing for me was bowl gougers, having that wing back. Let me see here. That's not done. Onto here is having that really nice fingernail grind on there, and it just works, which is great. Okay, so let's talk kind of rough angles. What I've been doing on here is exactly how the Thompson tool guy has been doing, is just using a bevel protractor like so, working out this angle from here, setting that, and then setting up this jig from this point, and I'm sticking the tool out about 2 inches and then setting this point from the actual wheel. Now, again, my wheel does need flattening off again, it does need honing, but you know, it's not a problem really for what I'm doing here today. Okay, let's see how we go. So all we're going to be doing here is using a bit of a Sharpie on this top point here, colouring everything in. Now you don't want to be getting any of this steel hot, so I've got a shot glass full of water here. Okay, and there you can see a very even fingernail looking grind. Now I could go back on these wings here. Sorry, I could go back on these wings a little bit more here, and there is just the smallest burr that we're going to take, a small round file on here, just to take around that that half moon shape and just remove that little burr on the top. But as you can see, I've ground this to 50 degrees on the top and then swept those quite far back. Off camera, what I'll be doing is I'll be having a little bit more of a play, probably on the angle of this, just to sweep those back a little bit, just to get more into that that rake angle from the top here when you're trying to get into the corners. What I would say is the chisels that I have bought not been really expensive, and for me especially, I'm not going to be buying anything new because I don't want to be, you know, messing up an £80 wood chisel. So I'm going to be having a play. I'll report back. You'll be seeing this setup in a few future videos. So I wanted to kind of get it out the way before I got quite a few questions on this. Again, it is one of the first things that I would kind of feel quite confident about, you know, selling them or whatever. I don't know what the legalities are of, like, you know, I don't want to start getting into trouble. You know, fully disclose that this is technically Wolverine-esque. It's Wolverine-esque, but it is quite different from their, you know, offsets and how their actually holder is. And far superior, no doubt, their products. But for people in England, it's quite hard for us to get these actually really good solid jigs. I like to build things over the top. Nothing too strong has ever broken, so that's kind of a law I stick to. So yeah, let's summarise. Okay, so thank you very much for watching. The forge that I kind of showed off in the last video, it has been unbelievably windy here, and I've tried to light it a few times. It's a bit of a nightmare. So that's probably why you're seeing this video first and not the forge. I will be finishing the forge as soon as we've got a little bit more suitable weather. It went from being really windy to super hot. I mean, it's, you know, it's a good 15 degrees now, which is unbelievable. So I've put that on hold for a little bit. It's currently by my feet, so I'm hoping to get that done as soon as the weather is permitting. These jigs here, if you are interested, they do take a hell of a lot of time. I don't really know how to sell things. You know, something that I've made, I'm not sure how to kind of market them and really kind of go for it. I do have a very, very busy job. But again, it's something that I really liked the product when I saw it from watching the Thompson video. I tried to look at actually getting one and they're really expensive. So that's kind of why, you know, we are Anchor Designs and not Anchor Buys. So we've designed it, it works fantastically, you know, and I'm really pleased with the results. So I don't know if you want to see another video of me doing, you know, a little bit more and trying to get a bit more technical into it. I don't know if you're going to see a benefit of that. I mean, the world of YouTube is actually full of people who really are experts at sharpening, you know, chisels. And I don't think you'd really want to see a bloke in a shed in the middle of England, well, North England, trying to do it. Don't know, but I'm waffling. So that is the jig. That is what we've done. We have good results. I hope you like it. If you did, please like the video. If you are interested, or if you've got any tips or comments or tricks or whatever, yeah, let me know. I'm all up for ideas. You know, we're here to share knowledge. That's what it's all about. So leave a comment, hit subscribe if you are interested. I'm hoping you're going to be able to see this channel grow. It's starting to be quite exciting now at the minute. And I've had some fantastic emails. So thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay making, and we'll see you next time. Thank you. And here's another idea that I've nicked off somebody that's going to probably be the next video, but this is one of these hygiene fingers, and these are 4mm brass that's been cut out, and it's got a Anchor stamp on there. Keyring, fits in your hand, really nice to use, happy days. So we'll see you in the next one.